Hey everybody, welcome back to the Universe and Me. This is your host, Miss Jaleisha J. You know me. I am a self-love coach. I am an inspirational speaker and I'm an author. And this podcast is all about all things self-love, spirituality, anything that is for our greatest good, for our highest good. What can we learn about ourselves to grow and to learn and to evolve? And I have a new guest every week, so I'm really, really excited because I've been following her on Facebook. Well, we follow each other on Facebook, but I've been following her. Everything she posts is so enlightening. It's so like on point. You know how some people post things, you're like, oh, okay, they maybe know what they're talking about. But there's certain things when you see other people, you're like, oh, they know what they're talking about. And so she's one of those people. And so I want to welcome her, Nikyla Maria. Thank you for joining Universe and Me. How are you, lady?
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And I just have to reiterate that I feel the same way about everything that you are doing right now. It's been so fun to just feel the resonance between the things that we're posting and vibing with. And it's just amazing to be here with you.
Yes, Ashe. I received that completely. Sending the love back. This episode is really exciting because we are talking about healing is a love language. And if you guys know about me, I'm all about healing, I'm all about self love. And we're just going to dive into it as far as the depths of what healing looks like and why it's so important, especially in this day and age with everything that's going on in the world, because the world does what it does. But self-love should be a priority, and we shouldn't be ashamed of healing, of finding ways to prioritize us. So I want to ask you, Nikyla, can you just introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'd love to. Like you said, my name is Nikyla Maria, and I am a spiritual mentor. I currently work mostly with hip hop artists, but also with my community at large. I'm a published author of the Inner Child Oracle cards. And honestly, this last year, I've just been really cultivating a community and really diving into collaborations and doing things like this. My goal is to really help people come back to a sense of themselves. I never feel like I need to help anybody fix themselves because I don't see any of my clients or community as broken, but really help them to remember all of their innate, it makes me so emotional just talking about it. Just remember their innate power, their capabilities, their gifts, and to stop being just so trapped and shackled by what society has forced on us.
Yeah. Okay, when you were like saying that, I started getting emotional. I started getting chills because one thing you said that really, really resonated with me. You said that you don't look at your clients like they're broken, but you look at them like they're going back to a place of remembrance of themselves, or going back to a place of just reminding themselves of who they are. And I think that's so empowering because when people hear healing or people hear about going on this journey of spirituality or growth, any type of knowledge of self, they think, it can seem very daunting. It can seem as far as, what am I getting myself into? But it's really coming back into the remembrance of who you always were. But because of everything that's happened in our lives, our own experiences, things can get clouded, layers can be put upon us. And it's just really bringing us back to that place. So I love that. Oh my God. That really did something to me. Sorry to do that.
I'm already emotional. We're only 3 minutes in.
Yes. I'm like, oh my God, girl, I'm gonna be crying. I already know this is gonna happen. And by the way, Nikyla is a Pisces. Okay, so she has such beautiful energy, and because she's in the water, I'm just feeling the emotions already, and I'm not prepared, but I'm gonna ride the wave. I'm gonna ride this wave. I want to also ask you, Nikyla, as far as you're doing amazing work. What has led you on this journey? Like, what has brought you to this place of wanting to be a space of helping others in this capacity?
I'm going to give you for the sake of this, kind of a shortened answer. And it's really been a lifetime of abuse, trauma, and terminal illness. And I say this lightly now because I can look back from it from a detached point of view, not detached in that I'm disassociating, but detached in that story is no longer mine. But throughout my childhood, whether it was sexual assault, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and then being diagnosed with cancer as an only mother at 21, I have always felt like in every situation I've had this little voice in my head that, as messed up as it sounds, has always told me this is going to be a very inspiring story one day. And that's the only verbiage that came through that allowed me to keep going and to find that deeper part of myself. And instead of saying, why me, or I hate you, God, or any of that, to really look inside and say, if this is truly happening for me, then what can I make out of it? And it's those things that really allowed me to transcend the human experience and then later on embody the human experience as I really stepped into that more powerful place out of victimhood and into the victor. And so short answer is the trauma and abuse led me here.
I see a similar theme with all of the guests or anyone I talk to that's been on this road of just wanting to help others, is that a lot of us majority of us normally have been through some really, really trying times and trying experiences, myself included. And the gift of the awareness, or the gift of this journey of wanting to help others, is that for me, what I learned is that you don't have to do this alone. That you actually, because a lot of us, from my experience, a lot of us have to do this on our own. We figure these things out our own. We become our own healers in a sense. We essentially are our own healers, and a lot of people aren't able to do that. And so that's why it's necessary for someone like you, someone like myself, anyone that's in this type of dynamic of healing, to help others, because a lot of people can't do it by themselves. And a lot of people don't know that there's something else on the other side of their current situation. And I want to also ask you, because I was telling you before we went live that I was looking at a lot of different things that you offer, because you're just killing the damn thing. You're just offering so many different resources and so many different things for people to be able to plug in, to tap into themselves. One of the things I wanted to discuss with you, because sometimes we don't even realize that we have issues. Like you were touching on earlier, that you didn't want to be victim. You didn't want to be the victim anymore. You didn't want to have to always be in a state of like, woe is me. But sometimes we don't even realize that we're in that state. We don't even realize that we have emotional issues. So we don't know how to handle our emotions or our feelings. We don't know that we are in a space of discontent. And so I was going to ask you, how can someone who maybe they're watching this today and thinking, okay, healing, okay, but how do I know I actually need to be probably working on self, or I need to be paying attention to myself?
I love that question. And it's so true. And the one thing that I want to make clear is that this life does not have to be full of, or even have any suffering in it. And so if you are feeling any sort of suffering, if you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling depression, if you're feeling like you're drowning, like you don't have joy getting up in the morning, and I'm not saying this to be all airy-fairy. I'm saying this because I lived a long time thinking, well, this is just what the freaking human experience is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not. And so my answer is, if you're feeling that way, there is a solution, and that solution is going inward and sitting with what's creating those symptoms. Anxiety is a symptom of something you haven't looked at inside of your body. That's where the emotions are stored. And so if you're feeling any type of way that isn't joyful, peaceful, comfortable, even comfortable with the hard things that happen in life, because even though I got to this point, hard things still happen, but I don't drown in them anymore. I can sit with them and say, today's a bad day, so I'm going to pause and I'm going to be with this bad day until it passes. And that's my biggest indicator of anybody who feels like, I'm not sure if I need to do this work. If you're not feeling your best, then there's work to be done. And it's not because, like we said at the beginning, you're broken. It's just because, why not live the best human experience you possibly can while we're here?
Absolutely, Nikyla, absolutely. Because I feel, and my dogs might bark, so hopefully not, but I feel everything that you were saying, because we think that, especially when we go through things as far as anxiety or depression, we don't actually know that that's just a symptom. of something else. It's not necessarily, okay, this is just what my life's supposed to be like. I'm supposed to endure pain. No, it's just a symptom of something we're not paying attention to. It's your body trying to show you, hey, you need to pay attention to what else is going on. There's something deeper here. And it's supposed to guide us back to ourselves. It's supposed to guide us back to what's really going on. And for me, as someone who has struggled with panic attacks, someone who struggled with anxiety, with depression, when I look back on all those experiences really was trying to guide me back to why I was unhappy, why I really didn't feel fulfilled. My dog is just
Oh,
going
you're fine.
crazy. No. My dog is just going crazy. But all those experiences just led me back to the truth of who I was. And I want to ask you, because you have this 5-day detox, of anger detox. Can you explain that? Because people, when they think of anger, they think of anger as this horrible thing, or they think that, anger, we should shame anger, but there's a reason why the anger is actually there. It's a reason why that emotion exists, and it's a reason why we need to pay attention to it.
Yes, I'm so glad that you said that, because what I teach is that anger is one of my best friends. It's the one thing inside of me that says, girl, you are not being treated right. The situation is not right. Something is not in alignment with you. And when I feel that anger, I can say, there's something in my life that's in misalignment. And then I am empowered to have that choice. And that's why I created Anger Alchemy, because it's a 5-day detox, mind, body, and spirit, including a liver detox, a recipe for a 3-day liver detox, because people have pushed and suppressed their anger so deep inside of them because, like you said, they feel shame about it. They feel like it's not something they should be feeling. I think a lot of people mistake anger for violence or the action behind it a lot of times, but the anger and aggression are actually some of the most powerful creative emotions. It's only when we take action behind those that any negative outcomes ever happen. But I personally love my anger and my aggression because it allows me to birth new things into the world. And it's that really fiery energy that allows me to create. And so what Anger Alchemy does for you is it allows you to notice where the anger is living in your body. It cleanses your liver so that any of that old stagnant anger is released, and it brings all of the underlying issues to the surface. And when I say to the surface, I mean, so they're looking at you in the face. And the job that you have from that moment forward is to befriend it, to not shame it, to not push it down, but to say, hey, I can see that you're here for a reason. And now I'm going to work on our relationship, my relationship with you, anger, and really try to figure out how we can navigate through this world in a more in alignment, resonant space.
Oh, that's good, Kyla. That's good. I love all that, because anger to me, anytime that I feel anger or any type of strong emotion, I'm not normal. And I told you before, I'm a Libra, so I'm like detached. I don't want to feel things, but I actually am a very emotional person. And I coming on this journey, my emotions hit me so hard, especially anger, especially sometimes sadness, but I used to run from that instead of absorbing and building a relationship with myself. And I think that's the greatest thing about the emotions, is because they're always telling us something. It's always guiding us to somewhere. It's always showing us about ourselves. You can tie your emotions also to your intuition, to the way you move throughout life, and deciding to make a business move, a personal relationship, a choice. You can trust, if you build a relationship with your body, with your emotions, you can start feeling how your body reacts and moves to certain things. And so when I start feeling anger, I'm like, oh, that's my body's way of saying, well, girl, you probably did something you didn't want to do. You like you probably went against yourself, because anytime I have anger, it's because I did something. I dishonored myself in a way. I probably maybe quieted my voice. I kind of probably maybe people please in a way. I've done something that kind of went against what I actually really want. And so when we build the relationship, when we understand where the anger lies, we're able to come into a deeper understanding of who we are and what we actually really want to do or what we want to experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why it's so hard for me in some of when I see certain people, and especially I know in the coaching industry and the spiritual industry, when people are bypassing their emotions or afraid of what they're feeling, because we all feel anger. I don't care how enlightened you are. We all feel anger, and nothing is wrong with you for feeling anger. We all feel shame at one point or another, and that does not mean anything is wrong with you. But I feel like so many people think, "Oh my gosh, I felt all of this inner rage today. Now something's getting there goes my bag. Like there goes whatever the hell I was working towards." Sorry, I'm not sure if I can swear here, so I've been really watching my language. But whatever it might be, and then they either push it down or mask over it, and then they wonder why they still feel so miserable. And it's like, just embrace it. Like, let's stop hiding and pretending we're all living these perfect lives. Like, I feel like my life is perfect, and it's perfect with the anger, it's perfect with the bad days, it's perfect if I for some reason snap at my kid, it's perfect if I for some reason shame myself, it's still perfect. And I stepped out of alignment for a moment, and nothing bad has to happen because of it. I just get to learn and be with it.
Yes, all of that, Nikyla, because I want to just say, especially in the spiritual community, if we're really talking about being enlightened and aware, we really should be in the space where complete vulnerability or complete realness, that we are not always of love and light, that there is the dark sides of things, there is the shadow side, there is moments when we are not our best, even those who are aware that we do sometimes go through those moments. That's more real, because that shows that, all of us go through them. We're still human. We are spiritual beings, but we're still human. We still have human experience. We still go through certain things, but it doesn't have to define us. And so, one of the things I used to do when I first came into the community, I was very much trying to, like, I wanted to be all is love is light, love is light, and everything's great. I know how to handle myself. I know whatever. But behind closed doors, I was just getting knocked. I feel like the universe was like, "Oh, you want to play this game? I'm gonna really throw some things at you to really mess with your emotions, to really mess with yourself." And I personally had to. I feel like spirit set me down and said, "No, you need to deal. You need to honor yourself." Because that's how you come in true embodiment of who you are. You're not tapping into your full nurturing side, that fully compassionate side, because you have not allowed yourself to just feel. If you don't feel good, it's okay not to feel good. If you don't, if you want to scream for a second, it's okay to scream. Like, if you need that moment, just say, "I'm not good at this moment," or everything, I'm having a bad day. It's okay. That is okay. That's what vulnerability is. That's where your strength lies. And you're able to hold space for somebody else who goes through something similar, but they can't see that they can relate to you because you're trying to say, "Oh, everything is great." No, be honest, be truthful. That's where the real healing comes from. That's where the real community lies in. So absolutely. Everything you're saying is like, it's hitting. It's hitting. Absolutely. I was gonna also want to lead into, because you had something as well, that you do inner child work as well. Oh, Lakita, she's responding. She says yes, and it shows you are relatable. Absolutely, absolutely. When we are real, like society, and I just want to touch on this real quick. Society will tell us that we need to be strong. We need to be, especially as women, and especially like entrepreneurs, bosses. We have a certain image that we have to upkeep, but that's not being real. The last few years, people who take off is because they're being authentic. Is because they're showing parts of themselves that we all go through, we all experience behind closed doors. The more that we get real with others, with ourselves and with others, the more the real work happens, real healing happens, because people feel that they are seen. People feel that they're understood.
Absolutely. It's so important. And I'm so grateful for the revolution I feel like we've seen in the online communities, because
Mhm.
I started out here just over 10 years ago. And I remember my first 3 years were absolute hell because I only saw the glamour. And then
Yeah.
here I was like I'm an only parent. I'm trying to build this business. Susie over here is making 10K a month by just posing for the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like doing everything. I'm building every funnel, every email list, everything they tell me to do. And every time I don't make the money, my coach or mentor says, well, it's because you don't feel worthy. And I'm like, what does that even mean? And
Right.
so, like, for 3 years, I thought I was just a shit show. I was like, this is all me. This is my fault. This is because
Mm-hmm.
something's broken inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a vow the moment that I had that realization that I would never, ever BS anyone, because I want people to know that we're all worthy. We all get to get the bag. We all get to have our moment. We all get to be that inspiration. And it doesn't matter if you had the bad day or whatever. And I'm just so glad that you brought this up, because you can obviously tell I'm so passionate about it, because it's so hard to see people suffering because they think everyone else's life is perfect and theirs isn't.
Absolutely, Nikyla, because I think also social media has not helped us as well. I mean, it's helped in way of finding community, but then it also doesn't help because people see certain ideas and they see the comparison, and they see people living a certain way, and they think, oh my God, like, why can I have that, or why is that not for me? And then we get hard on ourselves. And Lakeitha says we tend to criticize ourselves the most. Yes, we do. We do. We are our own worst critic. But the more that we have spaces like this, or the more that we have those who are showing up just being real, the more that we can challenge the status quo, and the more that people can feel okay with, because the thing is, the struggle part, like you were saying earlier, I don't believe that we have to struggle. I believe that the more that we just are real, the more that we are coming into just being authentic, because being authentic is just being real. It's just being okay with who you are, with all of every bit of you, even the parts you don't want other people to see. When you can come into that, you are powerful in effort. Like, you're powerful as heck, because that means that you can move according to what you want to do, not what other people want you to do, not trying to serve anybody else, but knowing how worthy you are and how deserving you are. And when you move like that, that's somebody with a whole lot of power. That's somebody that's like untouchable. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this journey is about, is to getting back to who you really are, the authentic part of you, even the part that other people would be like, oh, okay, yes, that's part of me, and we all got different parts, and I'm still lovely. I'm
Yes.
still divine. I want to ask you, Nikyla, because you also work with the inner child. And so I would want you just to touch on that, as far as letting people know what exactly is the work with inner child and what you do.
Yeah. One of the reasons I created the Oracle cards so that you could get in tune with your inner child every single day. And really, what it looks like is we all are the way that we are right now. And I'm not putting any blame on our parents. I know they did the best they could with what they had. Cool. It still wasn't good enough for what we deserved. And even me as a mother, my kids deserved way more than I gave them in the first 6 years of their life, but I did the best that I could. It still created wounds. It still created traumas. It still created them to silence their voices in moments they shouldn't have. Every way that we are right now is a result of things that were said to us, done to us, we experienced as a child, because we had an unhealed mother and an unhealed father, or neither one of those, or one or the other. And what that does is it takes that innocent, pure part of us and it creates distortions. And so, my belief and what I teach my clients is that living from your higher self is living from your healed inner child. It's us trying to get back to that child we were birthed into this world as, pure love and light and kindness and openness and lack of judgment and pure acceptance. And it doesn't matter how loud you use your voice or what words you say or how opinionated you are. It's owning your soul essence. And each of us was created to be a different soul imprint here on this earth. And it's getting back to that by taking away all the masks and the labels, seeing through the trauma and the abuse and the stories, and allowing ourselves to own our innocence and purity. Because half the reasons we do half the shit we do is because we feel like we're bad or not enough or too much. And so we create our own distortions in how we show up, or we have these distortions for how other people perceive us that we're placating to. And it really just messes up the whole human experience.
Hell yeah, heck yes, hell yes, all the things you touch on so much, because a lot of the issues with stimulating image inner child is, well, the things that we deal with now is because of what we went through as children. And of course our parents, they did the best that they could, they did what they knew, and even though they did the best they could, a lot of times that leaves us still with wounds, that leaves us still with traumas, that leaves us still with things that we have to work on. And even as we are developing, we're not perfect, so we're still going to be messing up as well. We still have our own stuff because we're trying to figure it out while we're existing, while we're creating relationships and having our own families. And so the inner child work, I love it because it gets you back to who you were before all of the imprinting, all of the programming, all of the BS, all of the extra stuff. The inner child brings you back to whoever you really were, that divine soul who dreamed, who believed, who wanted to explore, who had certain needs and desires, certain characteristic traits. Like I like to use the example, I'm a Libra. I don't want to feel, but I actually am a very sensitive person. I am a very feeling person, and that means when I was a child I was a very feeling person, but something happened where I did not feel safe to feel or to express myself. So I built this whole, I'm going to be strong, I'm this person, like nothing can get to me. And now as an adult, I'm having to unlearn that and relearn who I was as a kid, that oh no, you are sensitive, you are an emotional person, and that's okay. It's okay to feel. It's uncomfortable to be in the space of wanting to, like, to having to learn these things again. But oh my god, when we start embodying the inner child, and we really start feeling like the things that we're supposed to be feeling, it feels good. It's uncomfortable at first, but it feels good because you start feeling like you. You're like, this is really who I am. This makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's freeing and it's
What I would
playful.
say, oh, let me have comments. Oh, mm-hmm. Absolutely. It takes you back. Thank you, Lakitha. Thank you. We appreciate you. It takes you back to this space of innocence, of purity. It takes you back to a space of just, I just want it, yeah, it's freedom. It's liberating because you really are in tune with the truth of who you are. And so I think when we think of inner child, people find that daunting. And I also want to say, I've seen in the spiritual community, we always say, I've seen a lot of people do inner child work as far as, oh, do what you did as a kid, go play at the playground, go do, go watch your favorite movie or go dance. Yes, that's inner child. But when you talk about the depths of inner child, that does tie into shadow work, that does tie into doing deeper work of, coming to the parts of you that you have shunned away or that you've hidden or that you've shamed because you didn't feel safe before. And so that part isn't always love and light. That part is, it's uncomfortable. Would you say, Nikyla?
Absolutely. I mean, it's super uncomfortable. And even like when I go through some of my reviews on like the cards, they'll give me like a 5-star, but they'll say, I was so scared to buy this deck and I don't know why. And now I know why, because it's one lady called it like a bitch slap of love. And like people are like, I was not ready. I thought it was gonna be all of this fun and excitement. And then, the thing about inner child work is it's telling yourself the truth without shaming others. It's saying, I understand that my parents did the best they could, and I had a really crappy childhood, and this behavior wasn't okay, and this really still hurts me. And it's about being able to look at that. But the problem that happens is so many people are scared to do that work because it means that they can no longer blame their circumstance. They have to look in the mirror and take accountability of, yes, this happened to me. And now I am an adult human that can no longer operate from that wounded inner child because now I have to be the parent. And it's not fair. Absolutely, it's not fair that we have to heal from things that were out of our control. But it is still our responsibility. And that's why I say, that's why this whole shift that we're going through collectively is so important. My kids, and this is such a powerful statement for me to be able to say, my kids will never have to suffer the way that I did because I broke the cycle that my ancestors, my family created. I did the work to look at those shadows and to break that cycle. And so my kids are never going to hear from me that, well, this was my childhood, so you're going to learn it the way I did. Absolutely not. They're going to learn love and safety and protection and inner power and authenticity, because that's what this job of all of us cycle breakers is doing. And yes, it's earth shattering. It is hard. I have spent years crying my eyes out, feeling completely isolated and alone. And I'm sure you have too, and so many people that are listening to this. And that is part of the work.
Oh, I got chills. I want to cry. It definitely is part of the work. Everything you said was so enlightening. Oh, I am gonna cry. This is the emotional side because I'm gonna let it just flow. Oh, because the thing is that coming on the other side, we're not just doing this for ourselves. What you touched on was so empowering because we're doing this for our children. We're doing this for the future generations. We're doing this for consciousness of the world. We're changing. We're changing the dynamic. We're changing the program. We're choosing to do something differently, and that shit is not easy. That shit is hard. But the reward on the other side is so great because we get to rewrite our story. We get to rewrite the story of our kids, of our family, of those who we come in contact with. And that is empowering as heck. And so I don't take this stuff lightly because it's not just about us. When we say we want to do this work, it doesn't just affect us. It affects everyone else around us. It affects those that's closest to us. Because even if we have children or we have friends, they're watching us. They're being molded and they're learning from us. They are taking seeds from us. And I'm not a mother yet, but I take it so important. My own healing, my own the way I treat myself, the way I show up for myself, because I know my parents didn't have this, what I have now. My grandparents didn't have this knowledge, this awareness. So I owe it. I owe it to them. I owe it to my grandmothers. I owe it to my mom. I owe it to them and I owe it to my unborn children, to those who I come in contact with, to really, really move forth and do this work and show up that there's another way that we can do this. Yeah. It doesn't have to be struggle all the time. I'd be damned. It doesn't have to be that way. Oh gosh, this makes me really emotional. Oh goodness, Nikyla, you've been like amazing. I don't know if it's the Pisces energy, but oh Lord,
I'm like all water. My whole is all water.
Oh, your whole chart is water.
Literally, I have 3 signs that aren't water. So.
Oh gosh, so I'm diving all the way in. Yes, because I just feel a wave of different things going on, and it's just whoo. But this has been such a wonderful conversation. I've been just so enlightened by everything. I want to ask you. So you showed your Oracle deck. Do you want to just show that again? Because I want people to be aware of the Oracle deck. It looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's got this fun magnetic. I designed this so carefully, and it comes with a book, and then inside 56 hand painted cards. So, and I would love to gift you one of these. So after this, I'm going to, because I think that you would love it.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm looking, I'm like, this, that looks bomb. Yes, okay. Oh, goodness.
I just feel you so much. And I just feel the resonance between us and the power that you hold inside of you and all of the work you're doing. And I recognize it because I've done it too. And it's just, this is what the world needs, is more love and boosting each other up and seeing each other's goodness instead of constantly tearing each other down. And I'm so grateful for you and for the opportunity to come and speak to your audience and be here with you.
I'm grateful as well. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for sharing your beautiful, beautiful, loving energy. Thank you for just aura. Just aura is amazing, y'all. So I want to say to whoever's watching, whoever's listening to this later, plug and follow Nikyla, reach out to her if you, because look, even if you just go to her Facebook or if you go to her website, she has so many different tools and resources, and that's what we need. So sometimes you may not need to know about your emotions, but you may need inner child. She has all of that. She has an oracle card as well. I love oracle cards. I love anything that is helping me tap into my relationship with myself and my spirit guides and my ancestors. Look, she has so many resources for you. So tap into her, follow her, look her up. I'm overwhelmed with emotion, so I'm just grateful. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Nikyla, or anything at all?
I just want everyone here to know how I'm just going to be with this for a minute, if that's
Okay.
okay.
Yes.
Just how loved and cherished and important that you are, how much you're needed in this world. Every single person that hears this, it's not some phrase that's tossed around. It's that your unique energy, your unique beingness, who you are, is needed here and is not only loved, but absolutely pure love. And I'm grateful for your existence. And wherever you're at on your healing journey, you're doing an amazing job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't even follow up on that because you said it all right there. You said it all right there. I thank you once again for joining me. And I want to just say to everyone, just to end this, is that when I started this podcast, The Universe in Me, it's all about self love and spirituality. But these are really just the tools and resources so that you can plug in to find out deeper connection with you, so you can learn who you really are, at the truth of who you are, because society, family, friends, they will tell you or influence you, social media, but that doesn't mean that's necessarily who you are. And until we can get a relationship with ourselves, we're kind of lost in the sauce. But this is giving you the the tools to be able to locate the truth of who you are, the authentic truth of who you are. So I'm just so grateful and full of love because we're all deserving to feel love, 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 love for ourselves and for others, but most importantly, ourselves. We are deserving of that. And when I say love, I'm not just talking about romantic, just love, the essence of love, the being of love, the energy of love. We're all deserving of that. We're all entitled to that. No one else is in superior to the next person. We're entitled to those good things. The essence of love is the highest vibration you can have. And so we're entitled to that. You're entitled to that. So please plug in. Please reach out to Nikyla. I want to thank you so much once again. And thank you guys for listening and watching. And we will see you, or I will see you next week. And I hope you have a great evening and a great rest of your week. Peace out.